I'm presently looking for SAP Lumira for better understanding. I have some exposure to Design Studio also. So that's all pretty much about it.
Okay. So myself, Varun, so have total 6 years of experience in IT industry. So initial, I was working with SAP BO. So later on, I moved to R&D department. So where we used to work for different front end tools, SAP BO and Tableau and Power BI. From past 3 years, 3.5 years, I was working with R&D department in design studio as well as Lumira designer. So yeah, so I have implemented couple of complex dashboards as well as we have some planning dashboards as well. So that is very critical for especially for financial department. And so we have converted a lot of dashboards from 1.6 version to 2.2 version. And so to maybe I can share my screen, and I can share my plan, so what I'm going to discuss with you, so that like maybe you can ask your doubts later on. So let me share my screen. Let me know once you're able to see my screen.
Sure, I can able to see it.
Yeah, so these are the topics I'm going to discuss with you. Like as you said, you are aware of 1.6 version, but I'm going to discuss about the overview of the components and how to get the connections and the different platforms and the demo. And I would like to discuss about the scripting part, like how much scripting do we need for the design studio, and how can we use how can we utilize the CSS styling for the design studio. And I would like to compare 1.6 version and 2.x version. Like we have lots of differences in 1.6 version and 2.x version, especially at the high level. Like maybe I can say, like as in a design point of view, in 1.6 we have grid layout, in 2.x you can say like we have adaptive layout, so where we can achieve a responsive design without any complexity of development. So this is a major change. There are lots of other changes which I'm going to show you and explain you about all these changes. And I also would like to explain about usage of bookmarks and the planning. What can we where can we use these bookmarks, and where can we use the planning, all those things. And I would like to showcase about performance techniques, because this is this is a big challenge, especially in SAP, because in SAP we used to have lots of data, especially in finance or manufacturing, whichever industry you take. We used to get lots of data, and every user wants to have the good performance. Especially nowadays, like in market we can see a lot of tools which came into the market. So if you compare, the business users always compare these tools with other tools, and they would like to have the dashboards to run very faster. And so I would like to showcase some of the performance techniques for what I used, and where we can improve the performance. And I would like to also showcase some of the sample dashboards and exercises. And also, I would like to showcase to you the real-time dashboards what I have developed in my project, or so that like you would be aware, like how can we. So these are the sample dashboard which I developed. So maybe you can just I can show you like how I achieved all this responsive design, and what kind of scripting, what kind of global variables I created, so what is the use. So these kind of things I can show you, and these things, and yeah, that's it for these things. So maybe uh, the duration will be like maybe 30 hours. So as of now, that is my plan. Yeah, so that's it from my end. Like if you have any questions, or if we need any further topics to discuss, maybe you can go ahead and ask.
Sure. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm the only person or some other participants also there with this uh, session.
That thing I'm not sure. I think e-corp people has to confirm.
Yeah, hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I have questions, but my doubt is whether I ask now or later.
You can ask now. If any doubts, you can ask now.
Okay, okay. First of all, are you going to search both the Lumira designer desktop and the designer as well?
Yeah, it is there in my this list. Yeah, the components, whatever it's mentioned, right? Components, connections, and platform. So basically, it's like I will show you like each and everything in 1.6 as well as in 2.2, because there is lots of difference actually. So because 1.6 is different, 2.x is even though like concepts are same, but there are advanced concepts in 2.2. So I will discuss both. So whenever I'm discussing any topic, like for example, I'm discussing about in a design point of view, or if I'm using any css scripting, and also I would first scenario, like I would explain in 1.6, then I will come back and explain in 2.1. So that's the idea.
Okay. So the Lumira is like uh, how you should be connecting through remote desktop, or are you providing any software to download and then work ourselves?
That thing again, ecorp has to provide. So I'm not sure about this demo. So I think they will. I think I don't. I'm not sure they have any remote desktop. But if you, I think they should confirm on this thing. But if you really want, maybe I can provide.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, Varun.
Yeah.
We're going to share the remote desktop.
Okay. 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 That's fine.
Okay. So the connectivity will be established with the backend with HANA and other um, systems like SAP BW and other OLTP systems as well, or how that presentation will go? Like, is it completely through flat file?
I'm not getting. Yeah, Varun, just give me a message. What are the components we required in the server? So we are going to hire from a vendor and we're going to share it with them.
Okay. Fine. Fine. Sure. So you require BW and HANA, right? Anand?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, fine, fine. Yeah. Okay, so if you need any other things like to discuss, maybe you can share so that I can also add to my list so that I can explain you. So as far as I know, if may I know like to which industry you're working, so that like I mean just for my understanding purpose, so that like I can also tell you the challenges, because especially like
Sure.
yeah.
I've been in industry for quite some time, like more than 20 years.
Okay.
I'm with last 8 years on more on the SAP Vivo, and I have some working experience in Vivo Bex reporting, SAP BW,
Uh-huh.
and I am also familiar with SAP HANA. I'm currently working on Vivo BW HANA, but thing is we are moving away from Vivo, reporting to SAP Lumira. So my requirement is to work on the SAP BW connectivity with Lumira, and also we have a HANA, which is the backend for some other views. So the views are already being built. We need to use that Lumira dashboards on top of that HANA as well as on BW.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Yeah, got it. Yeah, so that's it, no problem. So I am going to walk through all those things because if you, especially In Bex query, when we are connecting the Bex query with Design Studio or Lumira, so there are a lot of challenges. So we which we don't support. Some things we don't support, and we need to have we have some workaround. For example, conditions where we create conditions in the Bex query, right? So yeah, so the conditions directly it won't support in what you say, like in Design Studio. So first we need to create some script to activate those conditions, and then we need to apply those conditions to the particular chart or table, whatever it is, depends on the requirement. So such kind of challenges are there. So it's very good to know this, because these conditions are very common in because every customer or every business user wants to see a top 10 customers of their industry or of their vendors, whatever it is. So instead of creating a lot of scripting in Design Studio, it's good to have some conditions over there, and we can achieve this thing in Design Studio, and so we can really improve the performance. So such kind of things I'm going to explain, because I mostly worked on backend aspects as well as HANA, so that I know the challenges or what are the drawbacks, so that I can walk through all those challenges whatever I faced. Yeah.
Okay, good. And the second thing is, I'm also interested to know the connectivity between D3. You probably know the D3 is JavaScript
Yeah, d3.js,
library.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So some of the requirement is like I have to connect to D3. There are some dashboards which my interest is to connect the D3 with the Lumira for dashboard designing.
So may I know the reason
So
why you're using D3? Okay, like you have some custom
uh,
SDKs you build up. I mean, someone has built up, and you would like to integrate those thing into Design Studio, right? That's your idea.
exactly. Right. Actually, the dashboards were built using completely based on the D3 and JavaScript. That JavaScript I'm trying to port to the Design Studio. Probably, I don't know whether you have a chance to work on D3
Yeah, yeah.
or
I worked on different. You can see here, right? The VBX. So these are the third-party SDKs. So I worked with a lot of third-party SDKs, and I also built something. But yeah, so it's like you can bring in this. If you can see here, let me show you. So you can see here this stack cloud. These are like SDKs. So Sparkline chart, which we don't have in native Design Studio or Lumina Designer. So these are like this is a waffle chart. So these are the like SDKs which I bought from third party vendor, and we can utilize these things in our Design Studio, and we can play around. So yeah.
there are a bunch of Java script libraries available for dashboarding. So for you know for our own purpose, we should be able to integrate.
Correct,
And
correct.
D3 has
Yeah.
yeah.
Correct. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So D3 is very good actually. Yeah, we can build some beautiful visualizations. But yeah, they do actually, if you're having any separate developer for JavaScript, and you can build your visualization based on your requirement, and you can always plug in those visualizations with Design Studio and Lumira. Yeah, so you can play around.
Right.
Yeah, I can show you like how to get those SDKs and how can you play around, because even I have this SDKs, I can show you the advantages with SDKs, all those things. And maybe you can also propose to the client, because VBX is built on in like it's a good thing, like we can build some beautiful visualizations with the VBX. Like if you have chance, like you can also like propose to the client this VBX as well, if you really like it, because these VBX
Right.
also having very good visualizations. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one of the business partner who actually developed some beautiful dashboards for the company, but unfortunately, older versions of Design Studio we could not able to integrate with the D3 because there is some issues with the library connecting,
Correct.
integrating with
That's true.
older versions of it. But I heard that the recent versions, 2.0 onwards, it's quite possible to integrate with D3.
Correct.
So,
That's true. Yeah, we can do it.
okay. Okay. Apart from that, like three things I'm expecting, like designer, some JavaScript integration, and some BW back queries connectivity. Because Vivo reports on back queries are running too slow, and they want to get rid of that process and go to Lumira. So that's all.
Correct. Correct.
The reason for I want to be, uh, top of the game when working with different people. So that's the purpose
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, understood.
trying.
Yeah, yeah. So I can tell you like performance techniques and how can you so some things maybe we can push to the back end. So some logics which we don't want to make our dashboard struggle, because some things we need to push to the back end. Such kind of techniques, whatever I faced, I can share all those things with you so that you can implement all those things in your project as well. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I would like to know the course curriculum and hours and then the server details, um, some other inputs that if you can provide.
Yeah, server details I think eCorp can provide you. I think the curriculum is this thing, and it will take like maybe 30 hours, and I can come up with the detailed daily plan. It like it depends on you. Like, is it possible? Can we start tomorrow, or do you, if you are maybe if you could let me know the availability, so then we can start the sessions.
I'm thinking from the next week onwards. Right now, this weekend I have busy schedule, so maybe from the next week I'll let you know within a week's time I should be able to start it. So I'm preferring, to take a 1 hour every day during weekdays.
The same time, right?
So yeah, weekdays.
Okay, weekdays. Okay, got you. Yeah. Okay.
And I prefer like if there is something, if there are some steps or some already existing, um, files that I can work with, rather than a lot of people they give in modeling, especially 5, 6 lines of data with really nothing. So I am not looking for that. I'm looking for huge data because this a lot of issues comes when there is too much of data, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
we can do more of visualization, do drill down and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So like that, I found it real, at least close to the real life examples.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
So data,
that's
I think in 1.6 version you can't integrate with Excel, but in 2.2 version maybe you can use some flat file with a good amount of data, or else because they are giving you remote system, right? The back queries. So I don't think they will have much data. But if you really want good amount of data, I think to check the performance point of your, to check your whether the performance optimization techniques are working fine or not, maybe you can use a flat file in 2.2.x version, because we can integrate the flat file. But in remote system I don't think you will get good amount of data, but yeah, you will get some amount of data, or else you can do one thing. I think you are a BW guy, right? I think you can load some data. Okay, you can to the multi-provider or something, some good amount of data, and you can build your own query, and you can create dashboards on top of it. I think that should work.
Yeah, that should work. Creating already there might be some cubes. If it is a BW system, there might be some cubes that are
Yeah,
existing
yeah,
from multi-provider.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
then next week, like maybe if you could tell your timings to the e-corps, or then they can intimate me. So then I can come up with the daily schedule or daily which topics I'm going to cover with you, and I can share with you as well. And maybe if you could
Okay.
feel free to edit those document, and you can just let me know which are topics if you want to cover extra. So then we can go ahead and start.
Okay. So I need some hands-on practice as well, like rather than figure out data myself. Rather somebody like flash file is also fine. The big thing is what I'm saying, more a hands-on for myself to practice. So if there are steps or or
Yeah, sure.
uh,
We can do that thing. What we can do is like initial thing. Like I will make you to I will make explain all those topics and how to design the dashboard and all those stuff. So then what I will do is like first like maybe 1 week I can, or 10 days, like I can go ahead for initial, like maybe for 10 hours, you can say like 10 to 15 hours. I can go ahead with cover all the topics and the differences between 1.6 and 2 direction. I will make you comfortable with both the versions. So once you are comfortable with both the versions, then I can showcase some real-time dashboard, some complex dashboard what I have built. And maybe you can do one thing. I can if you want, I can share some files which I have done some POC, not for real-time projects. I have done some POC for for another clients. I can share some zip files, and you can always import those zip files, and you can check the design. For example, this is the zip file. This we You know the planning function, right? In backend Bex query. So this the client requirement is to have some planning where they can plan their data, they can plan their actuals in the budget. And so once you create planning functions in the BW, you will get this planning objects, you can see here, right? So these are the planning functions where backend they have created. So this is the kind of demo which we created for the business partner. So you can I can share this kind of zip files, some of the zip files. What you can do is like you can see the design. So this is the responsive design. You can see here left side, some panel is there, and right side I have created two charts and two cross tables, and you can see top of it like buttons are there. So like in order to build this responsive, because it should fit all components, right? So it should fit all this like mobile as well as desktop. So like that's the idea behind responsive design. So you can see all these files, and maybe you can just let me know wherever you're feeling uncomfortable, so that I can walk you through, and I can also give some exercises we can play around. Can you hear me?